Crosskart fans, what an exciting day. This is the first VF-1 weld together kit. This is professionally manufactured. Everything is CNC bent and laser notched, and it is absolutely gorgeous. All the part numbers are etched right into the parts, so you'll need the plans to assemble it. Now, the one I got came with all the jigs. It came with the rear A-arms and it came with the chassis. Now I have two different setups. You can get just the frame if you want to build your own jigs. You're going to want to know the cost of it. Metal prices fluctuate, so I can't give you an exact number. I'll tell you two things. Number one, it's around $2,000 for just the frame and rear A-arms, and the jigs add $400 to that. Also, I only charge $50 over the cost to make these, so it's always going to be reasonable for you guys. Number two, I'm going to sell these through the Facebook group. Now, you have to have the plans to get into the Facebook group, but you also need the plans to assemble this, so it kind of makes sense. I will open up sales the first week of every month. I'll be taking orders for kits the first week of every month through the KJ Racing VF-1 and VF-2 build group on Facebook. So that's how you get your hands on one. Now, as far as cost goes, if you just want to build one, this does cost less than buying the tools required to build one. But if you want to build more than one, and you probably will because they're really fun to build, go ahead and get the Rogue Fab bender and notcher. And if you build more than one, if you build two, it will cost you less to get the tools. And it's a lot of fun. The learning curve on that Rogue Fab bender is like zero. You literally just put the tube in, follow the plans, bend it. The cut wrappers give you a guide for the notches, and you can see all the success that's been going on already from using just the plans. Or if you have an excess of money, you can just get kits. Now let's talk VF. I designed the VF-1 cart to accept ATV parts. The VF stands for variable frame. I wanted to make something that was modular, that just one frame that you could use all kinds of stuff to build. You can use car parts, you can use razor parts, you can use ATV parts, you can fabricate your own parts for it, and you can use a variety of engines. I've got a Suzuki GSXR 750 right here that I'm probably going to use in this one. It's a KTM 525 ATV engine, also a lot of fun. And I've got a Predator Duramax generator style engine sitting here that works great in these as well. There's been snowmobile engines used, there's been 1000cc engines used, Hayabusas, obviously ATV engines, sport bike engines, just everything. And that's exactly what I designed this frame to do, is just be everything you want it to be. You can set it up for street, you can set it up for dirt, you can set it up to drift, you can set it up to do donuts. These are basically everything you've ever wanted to do in a car. You can jump them. You can just drive it at 110%. It's so fun. I have them primarily set up for ATV parts up there. I have a Polaris Predator 500 set of A-arms and a set of Raptor 660 A-arms over there too. You can use 450s, 525s, anything you want to adapt to this frame. It's modular. It's variable. It's versatile, right? VF stuff. So I can't wait to get started on it. Let's get started on this build. All right, so as I've said, you need the plans to put this together. There's no way to ship it with the parts, so that's just how it is. Sorry about that. So let's put this together. It's pretty straightforward. Here's an example of the etching. This is J20. This is J25 with a 3-inch stretch. These are going to come in a standard 3-inch stretch or 6-inch stretch. Pretty slick. I will show you another cool feature. Now this is J03, as you can see by that. And you can see the alignment mark on here. And you can also see a tab. Now this is tabbed and notched for the greatest accuracy possible. The tube parts are also marked for alignment. Right? Right? Look at that. So when I told you this was a complete kit, I was serious. This is the chassis jig. Right here we have the rear A-arm jig, so you can make perfect rear A-arms. And also the front end alignment jig to get the front end squared up for the upper and lower A-arm mounts. So cool, I love it. So your RAA parts or your rear A-arm jig parts, and your higher jig numbers are the front end alignment jigs. Let's get this squared up, put together. Now you'll still need to square things up as you put it together, and since they're tabbed on one side, you'll also need to double check your measurements. Where are the measurements? They're in the plans. You need the plans to put these together. Some of these are obvious, such as J3 here. It obviously gets squared up on the end of the tube, but these center ones, maybe it's not so obvious. All of the measurements you need are in the plans. All of the placement for the jig pieces are in the plans. Holy smokes, that goes together so easily. And it almost squares itself because of how low the tolerances are. That's the thing with a kit, your tolerances are 0. Everything's going to fit perfectly. This is so cool. I just want to put them all in. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's crazy cool. All right, let's start the time lapse. All right, I just want you guys to see how easily this front end goes together. Now there's these alignment dots right here. So you just put these in just between the dots. This back piece helps get everything centered up. Your front piece gets tabbed in. Now this is the cool part. These feet, the caster blocks, they are beveled on the edge along with that tab, right? So you just slide that in there, the bevel matches up, and you are rocking and rolling. Front hood piece, look at this, just tab and slot right into place. That is so easy. That's so easy. I'm so impressed with how this came out. And I hope you guys are too. This is insanely cool. This is insanely awesome and easy. So this front block, even though it's flush with here, I'm still gonna go through and measure and make sure that it's perfectly square. So that is one perfect jig done, and it is perfect. I verified all the angles, all the tabs, all the cutting is perfect, which means this will go together in no time. It'll be super easy and it'll be perfect. So on to the next one, let's do the front hoop. So you'll need the top and lower pieces, or upper and lower pieces. Now the tubing does come pre-drilled for the rosette, and it even comes with the sleeves you'll need. That is extremely complete. So we'll just get these in about halfway, should do it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weld inside the rosette of each of those to lock them in place. Once you have those somewhat in place, then you can slide the other side on. Now, since tolerances are so low for manufactured kits, I actually embedded a gap so that you can properly rosette weld this. Now, we can either just eyeball the gap where we like it, or we can fit it onto the jig to make sure it's perfect. Now you can see this is on here absolutely perfectly now. And we have about an 1/8" gap. Perfect for rosette welding and strength. This is so cool. Yes. Man, this is really something. Now, I just wadded the rosettes because I'm going to finish this off the chassis. I want this to all be smooth and done up right. So it's basically just locked together now. Now for the main floor, I'm just using some pieces of the A-arm jigs to get it in line with that. I used 4 because that's how you box it. In the past, I've welded up 1.5" square tubing to line everything up, but I thought I would save some tubing on this and just do it that way. So then once you get that, actually put this piece in first and kind of just aligned it. You can see the alignment holes in here. So you just want to put that just on the outside of your main floor bars. Get our piece in here, and we take our clamp, and we can just clamp it right to the jig with everything lined up. Now there's alignment holes on the back side as well that you can line up with the jig for your rear pieces. Get that nice and tight, and look at those fish mouths. They are absolutely perfect. Oh, this is so cool. Now for the forward piece, there are alignment dots for everything. There's 2 going off forward, there's 2 going off vertical, and 2 for the back side that lines up your main floorboards. And this kind of fits in tightly. So for this, you can use your fish mouths, you can use your alignment dots, you can use everything to help align this. You want to make sure it's symmetrical with the jig itself, and we'll just tack it in. Now this is going to fit tightly because we're working with 0 tolerance cuts, 0 tolerance bends, right? So you might have to give it a little extra something to make it fit where it should go. Now with that tacked in, we can tack the rest. Now you longtime fans know how we check symmetry, right? We flip it. Flipping it verifies proper fitment and alignment. So now that it's flipped, we can do a final weld on all of this and then flip it back over because our alignment dots are on the other side. There we go. Perfect floor, done. Now we can start adding other pieces. You guys want to see what CNC bent tubing and laser knot tubing looks like? So there are alignment marks here. They're called rainbows in the engineering world, right? So I'm just filling that in with a blue marker to make it more visible. To me, it is etched in, but it can be hard to miss when you're trying to align something. Let's take our main roll bar. Slide it on here. Now our rainbows are going to go on the back side of this. Absolute perfection. The tube is straighter than the jig. That's incredible. Using these alignment marks literally centers it on the jig for us. That's crazy because you can, have it offset one way or the other, but if you follow the alignment marks, that's how it lays in the jig, and it's perfectly straight. That's nuts. All right, so let's take a look at these rear uprights. I'm gonna grab another jig piece and I'm gonna put it right between here. It's an 1.5 inch spacing, so it makes it pretty easy. Now these are typically the hardest to bend. Oh my gosh, look at that fitment. Are you serious? This is crazy. This is so crazy. Oh my gosh. Look at how perfect that fits up. That is insane. Holy crap, look at that. It fits absolutely perfectly. Perfectly. I am absolutely blown away by this. Blown away. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take measurements just to make it symmetrical, and I'm gonna use the fish mouths to make it symmetrical, and I might use the roof pieces also for alignment. With a kit like this, everything just goes together. Oh, it's so awesome. Just take a look at this. I haven't even tacked it. I haven't even tacked it. Look how tight it is. Look how symmetrical it is. The fish mouths are so accurate, they actually help you with alignment. That is crazy. I mean, look at this. Here's a roof bar. It just perfectly aligns. It just perfectly aligns. It's crazy. It's so crazy. This is so awesome. Oh my gosh. Like literally, if you try to move this bar that way, it's like, I don't want to go because the fish mouth is perfect. If I try to pull it in, it's like, no. Oh, it's so neat. So I'm actually going to use the cross members to help align it. So this is C40. It goes back here. Now, if this is straight and level and connected to both of these tightly, then this rear end is perfect and perfectly squared. The fish mouths will tell you where it goes. The fish mouth is literally aligning it for me. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Fantastic. Fantastic. I'm trying to not rush through this. I'm trying to be methodical with putting it together because it seems so simple. Before, when I did this, I had my angle finders, I had magnetic stuff, I had squares, I was measuring everything. But this is just going together so easily that it doesn't seem right. But obviously it is right. Wow. This is wild. This is absolutely wild. Gosh darn it. I'm having trouble like just welding it up because it's so perfect. It just doesn't seem like it should be this perfect. That's zero tolerance for you right there. Zero tolerance. That's how this was manufactured, and that's literally how it's going together. All of these are just lining up perfectly. Perfect. Found it. Floor's not level. Couple of washers. Oh, too many washers. One washer. Look at how perfect. It's so perfect. I'm sorry, I just can't get over it. It's so cool. Come here. Take a look at this. Think you can weld that fit up? That is perfectly square, perfectly aligned, no gaps. It's absolutely perfect. Get the alignment holes there, and then how the chassis is designed, you just rotate it until it fits tightly. Absolutely incredible. So I'm trying to figure out how to put together a kit versus a home fabbed thing. Now the difference between the two is that kits are perfect, right? and the stuff we do is close to perfect, but not perfect, okay? So something we can do is we can use the exact lengths of these pieces to lock in our parts, right? So if we have a known variable, like the length of this tube and the fish mouths, we can actually use that to make our frame perfect, right? Check that out. We can pull that right together. We can take our second one. We can pull it together in the same manner. And then our steering cross, we can just align that with the jig. And we can make this front end perfectly squared because the jig is perfect and the cross members are perfect. So we can use that perfect cut, that perfect geometry, that perfect everything to get our perfect fitment. How cool is that? Now, I did just lightly tack this one, and this one I didn't weld at all, and I tacked the front. These two are kind of the constants. This one is variable for your pedals, however you want to do them. This one's also variable for where your feet are going to go. This is ready to come off the jig. Now, with the frame off the jig, let's work on getting this front end geometry perfect. And I've got just the thing for it. Now, when I first started building these, this was the hardest part, the front end alignment. To get bent tubing to line up just how you want it to is difficult. So I came up with this. This tab and slot is incredibly cool. So I'm gonna build the top and bottom, and then I'm just gonna connect them. So they are tabbed and slotted, but there is wiggle room. So verify everything before you weld it. Now you'll still need some flat stock to put on the ends to capture your tubes. So I'm just gonna cut them off my old jig, which this is way more square. So I may have forgotten about the front end alignment jig when I put these in. Luckily I didn't tack this one. And the other ones are just tacked in case I need to move those too. All right, so once you have your front A-arm alignment jig in place, there's an alignment hole right here, and here's your piece. The idea is to put all of these in at the same time. Oh my gosh, look at how that's going in. Look at the tolerances. Let's take that, slide it in. Now I'll tell you, the farther up on this tube this goes, the more aligned this will be. So mess with this and that, which you have an alignment hole, so that shouldn't be a huge deal. But give taps and then check your fit. That's just too easy. It's too easy. It's making me crazy because it's too easy. Like it's not bad to build one of these frames with a bender, but this is it's crazy easy. And now I'll just check the fitment of this bar. It should be just forward of this one. And then you just do the other side. This is too much. This is crazy cool. All right. I do see something. I got a little happy with my welds here. So I got to trim this up. I got a big booger right there. So I'm just going to clean that up so that'll fit better. see what that does. I cleaned it up probably more than I needed. Oh yeah, way more than they needed to. See how it slides in? Oh my gosh. That's crazy. You just tap on this until this fits perfectly and you're in. Perfect alignment, perfect fish mouths, perfect everything. Now something I can do is measure these angles to make sure they match. That just adds to the symmetry. 37.3. 37.3. This is insanely cool. Insane. See if we can get this guy back in. That's crazy. Oh man, this is so nice. I'm gonna pick you guys up and let you look at this more closely. It's crazy cool. Look at the fitments. Look at the alignment. Look at that fit up. The alignment. Look at the alignment. That's a completely square and strong front end. Even up here, check these out. Look at that. Look at the fitment on that. Wow. That is a front end literally done in like 6 minutes. Jig and everything. This is like the coolest thing. I'm gonna stop saying that, maybe. That is a perfectly square front end right there. All right, you want to see rear alignment made easy? There are guides. I'll color them in blue so they show up better on camera. They're pretty easy to see to the naked eye. So all you do, put your piece right there, and you want to touch that edge. You don't want to cut it in half. You want to put it right on the edge of it. And if you see, there's more holes here, which I don't need to highlight. Now we just take our verticals, put those in place, and then we just align it. Put your tube on the edge of the hole, and then wherever these lay up here is where they're going to go. Looks like the mark is centered on the tube. Look at that. That's perfectly square, perfectly aligned. Now there are also marks on this tube for your motor mount and upper A-arm mounting location. Now again, this is kind of dark, so it's hard to see. And these go under your cross member. And that'll get you a perfectly square rear end and a nice wide place to put the rear motor mount. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, in the past, I've had to manipulate things a little bit to make sure they fit well, to make sure they were square. But the way all of this fits together is so perfect that I'm hesitant to just fully weld it. But obviously I can. Everything's square, everything's straight, everything's perfect. The welding is actually a lot easier with the fit up and makes my welding look pretty okay. Better than highly adequate, maybe? You be the judge. Take a look at how square and perfect that is. It was holding itself in place, so it's just tacked and it feels strong as can be. Keep looking at that fit up. how tight and perfect all of this is. Perfect alignment everywhere. Oh, it's fantastic. Promise you I'd stop saying it, but I've worked on this for 1.5 years, and I'm just happy to see it come together. And I did this for you guys. I obviously built several of them with a bender and simple tools, and so have you. But when you guys wanted kits, I wasn't gonna just throw something together for you. It was gonna be perfect, and it was gonna be well worth the money it takes to design, to manufacture, to buy a kit. And I know it is for me. To me, it's 100% worth it. It's so cool. I still love bending. I still love my Rogue Fab, but this is just a different kind of fabrication and different kind of fun. I hope you guys love it so far. So the rest of this is just basically cross members. We have all the geometry stuff done. The rest is just fit and tack. Look for alignment marks everywhere. They're here and they work. I want to show you every single one. I'm sure some of you want to see it. Look at that. It's so gorgeous. The fish mouths are so perfect. They just align everything for you. So all you do is aim for the dot, put it there, and it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. The guys I've worked with to do this kit, you guys are so awesome, and thank you. This is absolutely amazing and better than I ever dreamed or hoped for. Well, there we have it. One completed frame. I could have put this together in, I swear, 20 minutes. It was so easy. Everything just laid in. And this is such a cool next evolution to KJ Racing and to Crosskarts as a whole. And I haven't even told you guys the best part yet. This tubing is 0.083, which is the FIA minimum wall thickness for a frame, which means it's lightweight. Going up to 0.095 or even 0.120 adds 10, 20, 30% to the total weight of the chassis. So this is the first time I've had a completed chassis all together, and I've got a scale here. Let's weigh it in. All right, so it's completely balanced on those 2x4s. Let's get a look at the weight. It is just under 140 pounds. Pretty slick. 140 pounds is pretty crazy for a single seat full cage chassis. And it's super strong, it's super safe. The series that these race in overseas has never suffered a fatality. That says a lot. So people ask about power plants. Is this enough horsepower? Is that enough horsepower? And I tell people, whatever you're thinking about using for an engine, take a passenger on the back, and that's the kind of performance you'll get with this. So if you're thinking about using an ATV, a four-wheeler, grab your buddy, put them on the back, go for a rip and see what kind of performance it has with that extra person on there. And that's what this will feel like when you build it as a cross cart. Same with a motorcycle. Your 600cc, yeah, they're still crazy fast with your girlfriend on the back, right? Well, Crosskart fans, there you go. VF-1 in kit form. The kits are offered in standard length, plus 3-inch stretch, or a plus 6-inch stretch, so everybody can be accommodated. Now, if this goes well, of course, I'll look into getting the VF2 done up in kit form, and also the XL and the next project, which I'm pretty excited about. Again, the way to get your hands on one of these is you have to be in the plan holders only build group, the KJ Racing VF-1 and VF-2 Facebook build group. You have to have the plans to put this together, so you might as well get the plans, get in the group, and then we can get you a kit if you want one. I can't wait to see it. This opens the door to so many more builders, and it's just crazy how far it's come just with the plans. So to add the ease of a fully manufactured kit, I'm just so excited about it, and I want to say thank you. Thank you to Patrick, thank you to Fanu. You guys made this happen, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to all the builders out there. You guys are the reason that I'm in this garage sweating it out on a 95-degree day, making these things for you guys, making them because I like making them too. You guys are awesome. This community is incredible. It's so fun being a part of it, and thank you. I love your builds. I love all your ideas. I love what you guys are doing. Keep it up, and I can't wait to see the new builds and new ideas that come with having a package deal like this. See you guys on the next one. Enjoy the build.